Welcome, welcome, welcome to another gym time. Where are you, my bro? Let me click my fingers. There you go.
Do you know what it was?
He was a little
Because
bit
I had to
late.
do the put you up, and I forgot. I was on messages, and I left it
Oh,
on there. It was like, oh no, I've clicked it. You're on, yeah. But hey, such is
just
life.
being
Such is life.
transparent with you
Hello,
guys. We're not trying
everybody.
to act like we've got this all together. It's still a work in progress, but we are grateful, grateful,
No,
grateful.
do you know, I like that we're not chiseled. I was saying it to over the weekend to some people. I'm glad that we're not cutting out the little bits, and and that we're not just squeaky clean for real. I mean, we are squeaky clean as in life, guys. Yeah, I mean, but on the show, it's just real,
Yeah, just
and that's
keeping
what
it
it's
real.
all
We
about.
don't we don't do no editing on our videos because it takes
Yeah.
time. It takes time.
But
And
you know what?
so
We're live.
yeah, so we're live. All the airs and graces gone out the window. So
Pick the note, the muting when you want to pop. No, not really.
so yeah, how are you doing,
uh,
Paul?
well, I'm doing really, really well. You know,
Good,
God
good.
is good. A lot of things, and so we're gonna be blessed again with Dennis.
Yeah, he's
Um,
become our resident.
and we're
He's
gonna
become
be
like the three chords, three strands, in the chord. So
and Millicent as well is gonna join us a bit later on.
that's
She's just
awesome.
getting in, you know.
That's brilliant.
Um, yeah, and thank you for joining us. Another show of Gym Time. Get your motivation. We're really thankful for you all. I know that there are some new listeners as well, some old listeners that just listening. We thank you. Facebook, Instagram, we thank you for joining us as well. And TikTok, you might have come from TikTok as well. So thank you. Yeah, I just want to show the appreciation. We want to show you the appreciation for joining us.
Absolutely.
Um, and we have my faithful Sonia on here. It's our sister. She's here. Oh, if she misses it, I think she's only missed one show ever, I think it was. So we're thankful for you all. Please share with your friends and your family. And I'm starting this like this because of the kind of weekend that I had, and I realized that we all have something to contribute, and we all have some sort of trauma or some sort of issue that we have to deal with. So I just want to show, as I said, my gratitude, and I know that Debbie's grateful as well to you all. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And the silent listeners, I'd love you to get into the chat and please comment as we're going along. And if there's any subjects that you'd like us to talk about, please share it with us. Tell a friend to tell us if you're too embarrassed. And if you want to join us on this platform, Restream, then again, DM us, get a hold of us on any of the social medias, and we'll gladly build that topic around you. We'll be here. We're not going to just leave you, like put you forward and we sit back, So I just wanted to say that. Am I delayed, Deb? Because you're just there.
No, what it is that I've also got it on Instagram, and I was trying to work out the Instagram so that I can hear what is actually going on there. But what it is that one is delayed, so it's messing me up with listening to you at the same time. But
Okay.
nevertheless,
Should I say over? Should I say over at the end of it?
got over what?
Over. So I'll say, yeah. Over.
Oh yeah, and then I know. So I
Yes.
really appreciate everyone for joining us on Instagram. I'm going to try and mute them over there so that it doesn't confuse me. Go ahead and do your disclaimer, Paul, and then I'll work that out in the background.
Okay. Well, as you know, we always say that we're here to empower you, motivate you, get you to look at things hopefully from a different perspective, deal with your challenges, deal with things in your life and not just sweep it under the carpet. So hopefully we'll give you some nuggets. Anyhow, when you apply some of the things that we say, if it doesn't work, knock out your neck. You know, what I say is that you are an individual, so you can take these thoughts or strategies and make it your own, tailor make it to yourself. And hopefully, by God's grace, you're able to navigate through the issues, problems, traumas, whatever it is that you're able to try to navigate, but you'll come out a better person overall, because that's what we want. You know, each one teach one. You know, we don't proclaim to know everything. You know, I'm gonna steal my
Why are you
sister's
gonna
words.
steal my? Why are you gonna steal my
Shall,
slogan?
shall I
Your
say it? Shall I say it? Shall I say it? I'm not gonna say it. I'm joking. You know, we don't claim to know everything, but we've experienced a lot in our life, and this is why we've got the show to be able to share it with you. Because what I realize is that there's nothing that's uncommon to us all. We all will find that we'll be able to relate to something that someone else has gone through as well. So hopefully you'll have food for thought tonight. It's a deep subject. Signs. I leave that to Debbie. Over to you, Debbie.
Thank you, thank you. So I'm going to repeat some of what you said because I'm a copycat. No, because really we're on here just to encourage and motivate you. Me and my brother had some really in-depth conversations, and we wanted really to bring that to you guys. And we have been able to navigate through our relationships, through the ups and the downs, the divorces. We've been able to navigate through all of these things, and we've learned a lot along the way. And we have grown in so many areas, and we really just wanted to share that with you. And also, we share the expertise of those that are out there who already have gone ahead of us, that are relationship coaches and so forth. So, we want to share that with you. And also, we want to share biblical principles that help us in our relationship. So, with all of that, it is a phenomenal show that is empowering and helping so many relationships. And to be quite honest, the uptake, the view does not justify what we actually share at yet. And I really believe that, you know, as time goes on, people will catch on to actually sharing and that they'll be encouraged and motivated to really work through their relationship rather than abandon them. They'll realize that there are tools and there are strategies that they can actually implement so that they can have better fulfilling relationships. And so that's our aim, that relationships will be that they will flourish and that will become bigger and better, that they will not just, you know, come to an end because people do not have the tools, the ability, the know-how to be able to navigate through. We're hoping that what we share will help people to enrich their lives, enrich their relationships so that they can work through their challenges. So, you know, you don't have to take on all the principles, you don't have to take on the advice, you don't have to take on anything, but why not? Why not try something different? So
Absolutely.
it's my disclaimer per se. Per se. So I'm still working on that in the background, Paul, because it's not
you forgot, Debbie.
I'm not too sure how to do that just yet. So if you will go ahead and share signs a relationship is coming to an end. That's the topic. Signs a relationship is coming to an end and how to restore that. So I believe that we are going to do a part 2, which is the how you can restore it. But we wanted to bring this to you from today so that you've got that in your mind. And we really want to look at how there are signs that the relationship is coming to an end. I think all of us know there are signs. People avoid the signs. And we really want to share some nuggets on how to restore that relationship, that seems like it's coming to an end. And it might mean that it comes to an end, but it doesn't mean that you have to be bitter and be angry. And so we're going to look at those things as well. So over to you.
Great, thank you. What I was going to say to you, if you mute the Instagram, because there's an echo at the in the background as well.
I'm trying to mute it without cancelling it, without closing it down.
I tell you, all you need to do is turn the volume down on whatever device that you're using, and then that way you're not cutting.
No, it's on. It's not like that.
All right. Okay. Well, let me carry on anyway. Right.
It will mute everything.
All right. This is a deep one, you know, because no one really. I was thinking about this, you know, and we do have warning signs. Some years and years ago, you know, but we're optimistic and we believe that, you know, things might change or is changed or it's changed slightly. But there was when looking at this, I was on a website called verywellmind.com, and it's dealing with the warning signs. Your relationship is already over. They're saying already done. Yeah. So I'm jumping forward because Debbie, you sent me something as well, and I didn't want to cross over.
That's fine.
Information. So I'm not going to talk from the perspective of what you sent to me as well.
That's fine.
So verywellmind.com. Okay. So here, as a relationship, this is a relationship coach. This is it's by Julie. I'm not going to be able to pronounce her name. Ungano, Oganyan, yeah. And it's reviewed by Sabrina Romanoff, PSYD. So they're saying, as a relationship coach, here are 4 signs your relationship is already over. And I'll just read a little bit. She says, being in love can be one of the best feelings in the world. And it is, you know. The relationship can be filled with exhilarating and soft gushiness that can propel you towards promises of forever. Yet, as time slips by, you may begin to experience uncertainty about your partner. And I'm gonna do. I'm gonna continue, but I'm just gonna introduce our guests as well. I'm gonna bring them in. Millicent. Yeah, I'll wait for you to. Yeah, I can see them in the background. It's like, let me jump into the chair, quick. Are you ready? Okay. So this is Millicent, who was with us last week. This is our cousin from America. Good evening to you, Millicent.
Good evening.
Hi, cuz. How are you doing?
Hey, happy
to have you on again.
We said that you guys are residents now, huh?
Yeah. So we had really good feedback. We had really good feedback in regards to last week's show. Let me just throw this in there. Had really good feedback, and a few people was asking for you to share the 7 areas of grief that you were speaking about last week.
Okay.
So we're looking to do another show around that, or loss. It wasn't necessarily grief, it was around loss. So we're looking to do a part 2. That feedback came back really good. People really enjoyed the content of it. Was it 6?
Yes.
6, okay. So yeah.
So we're going to build one around the subject, because you had a lot of information that you wasn't able to give out, and we want to give you the opportunity, and people are interested. They want to know, you know, someone wanted to know what was you gonna do to get your ex out? But hey, that's a whole different subject. Okay. So
What
I'm
was
gonna
the
bring
plan?
so I'm gonna bring Dennis in. Dennis, are you ready? I can see that your camera's open. So I don't want you to be fumbling when I switch you over. Can you see him, Deb?
No, not yet.
Okay, I'm gonna leave it for now. When I see him on the screen, then I'll do that. So I'm just going through the four. I'm using, Millicent, the information that I got from verywellmind.com, and this person's talking about as a relationship coach. She's talking about, here are four warning signs your relationship is already over. So I was just going through some of that now, and it was just basically being in love can be exhilarating and all that, and gushy and that lot. But as she says, as time slips by, you may experience uncertainty about your partner one way or another. It might reach a point where you aren't connected like how it was in the beginning. Even the little things about their personality may have started to bother you. They sip their drink, the crunch, that all that starts to annoy you. They're biting their nails, or they clean their nails with their teeth. You didn't mind before, but all of a sudden it's like, the socks that they left on the floor all these years, all of a sudden it's highlighted to you that, what, this really gets on my nerves. But it's not necessarily that's getting on your nerves. It's that, according to information, you're growing apart. So everything you start picking at and nitpick, some of the information is further along. So, and the same old arguments keeps replaying on a loop. You're not opening up to your partner as much as you used to. And if you're being totally honest, you're not sure if you can see them in your future anymore. And that's deep. Remember, this is going to be a part 2. So we're throwing out the things that it can look like, the signs that your relationship dead. Yeah. Splashing in the water, I drown, You have to excuse me. You know who I am, some of you. If you don't know, I like to mix humor in with the seriousness. Yeah. So I'll use metaphors because I like to.
That's how life is, Paul.
It is. Yes, it's serious. But the more you smile and laugh, the less you feel the pain. That's what I've realized for me. That's for me. Some of that is my coping mechanism. So I like to do that, and it brings a healing inside of me. And I laugh at myself sometimes. Okay, Dennis is ready. I'm going to bring Dennis in as well. This is Dennis. He's in America. Some of you know him already. Dennis Alexandra. This is a man who doesn't look like what he's going through, and some of you need to find him on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and follow him and look at his journey. It will inspire you. If you're sick out there, anyway, I'll leave it as that. But follow him. Hey, Dennis.
Hey.
Hey, Dennis. Good to have you back.
Good. Can you see me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like you're frozen now.
You're frozen,
I don't know
though.
why I'm frozen. I mean, I probably that ice drink I drank earlier made me frozen. I'm having some
I like that.
I'm having some technical difficulties right now, but
help me. This man is a mess.
Yeah,
we've got your video anyway, but you can slip off, and I'll pull you back in anytime. So if you need to
can
do,
can you do me a favor, Paul?
What's that?
Can you send me some hot tea so I can unfreeze myself?
A cup of tea. Would you like a cup of tea?
A
Cup
cuppa.
of tea.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I don't know what's
So
going on with this thing.
I'm talking about I got information from verywellmind.com, and we're talking about in this my information 4 signs, warning signs, because I like that it says warning signs. It's not saying these are the signs. It's just some of your relationship is already over. So that's what I'm just going through now. And I was just talking about replaying or on a loop the same argument over and over again. She goes on and says, perhaps a relationship is going through a tough moment that seems impossible to repair, or everything seems fine, but you're left with a persistent feeling of doubt you can't seem to shake, whatever the case may be. You're now wondering if the relationship has run its course and it's time to move on. To help you feel confident moving forward, here are a few obvious and not so obvious clues that could hint your relationship is already over. Remember, this week, it's about the signs, what it looks like. Yeah. Part 2, which I guess will be probably next week, what you can do, the strategies that you can implement to restore if there's restoration that can happen. Okay, so I just want to put that out there. So this is one of the things that shows you that is dead, thrashing around in the water. The intimacy just isn't there anymore. And it can be that, you know, it can be a lot of other things as well, why there's no intimacy. As some of the shows that we've done, it could be menopause, it could be lots of different things, but we're looking at the signs that we see here that the relationship could be dead. A lack of physical intimacy, issues with problem solving. So you're not talking to one another, you're not communicating, you feel unsure that you can speak your mind, you know. You just don't want to be in their company as well. Feeling lonely in the same room. Can you imagine that? That you're in there with the person, but yet you feel lonely. Yeah. That and then for some people, as it's saying here, that gut feeling. Yeah. Simply put, as she says, trust your body, you'll know when it's time. I actually don't agree with that statement in trust your body. Because sometimes the things that we think are self-created. And so we act on things that are not factual. And we have to act on facts. And that's why I think it's important that, number one, to lay a foundation of talking, communicating, regardless of what's going on. Because I think that once you have that talk with one another, not the, you know what? That's it. I'm done. I can't take it. Because, no, I said it in one of the shows. We never get together looking at this is going to end. We don't plan the end.
Right.
We plan all the beginnings. Yeah. And the end should be, for some married, for if you're married, it should be death. And for those that have got together, I want to show my commitment to you, him, her, mostly him. I want to show you that I want to spend the rest of my life with you, and that how important you are, that I'm willing to marry you. Some people say I'm not the marrying kind. When I think about that on a deep level, I feel like there's from my perspective, something, some trauma of some sort, some block. You're blocking it for a reason, you know. Maybe you feel like eventually you're going to be abandoned, or the person's going to be unfaithful to you, and you'd rather not make that commitment just in case that they are unfaithful to you, you know.
Mhm.
Um, Dennis is just slipping on and slipping off. So I'm trying to bring him in, but he's gone again. So where it says that I'm going to deal with the intimacy. So what I said, a lack of physical intimacy, issues with problem solving, feeling lonely in the same room, that gut feeling. So
Oh,
let me talk about
all
intimacy.
all of that encompasses intimacy.
Say it again, Millicent.
Well, I like to take. I'm a note taker, right? So I'm trying to write down what it encompasses. And I thought that the four things that you mentioned were the four things that we're going to be talking about today. But it looks as if those four things are part of.
A collective of amount of other things, and there is. Um, Debbie's got more. I could
Oh,
talk on that, but I thought instead of overlapping that, I've got the same information, word for word, verbatim. I found some other information. So these are just four signs. There are a lot of other things that could really make it look like this is over, you know, or that it is over. So maybe over is over. So these are just some of the things that may be, or there's a definite. Um, if one of you reaches out for sexual intimacy and the other consistently respond with excuses, and notice that they said one or the other, yeah, because it's not only women that say no, men do it too, you know, because sometimes it's just like that, you know. I don't agree, but hey, that's a different subject. Um, consistently responds with excuses about being tired, um, um, excuses about or was it irritated, or you're stressed, disconnected, or not in the mood. It could indicate underlying issues in your relationship. There are no stint rules for sexual frequency, and experiencing occasional dry spells as normal. Um, what do you think about that, Mo? Millicent?
We can't hear you if you're speaking.
I'm sorry. I'm on grandma duty and I can hear the kids,
Oh,
so I
right.
didn't want to hear them. So I muted my.
I was just
Um.
saying, what do you think about this? When there just isn't intimacy anymore, um, and we're not talking about dry spells. We're talking about making excuses consistently, um, because you don't feel that connection with someone anymore. So
Mhm.
we're looking at all the negatives of it, as opposed to finding, well, or what we're going to do next week as well. So please, everybody, it may look dim, but we're going to give you some strategies next week.
Okay. So part of the.
You're breaking up, Mel.
I'm gonna pop off at 4:30 and then
Yep.
come back on after I've taken care of something with the boys. So,
Okay.
just to let you guys know. So, as far as intimacy is concerned, it's no joke. It's no secret that all three of us have been divorced. All four of us. When Dennis comes back on, and one of the ways that I could tell um, that my one of the relationships had had just fizzled out is because there was abuse in the relationship and it was continuous. It wasn't. The physical abuse was not continuous. The verbal abuse was. And so you can only throw a bone to a dog so many times before that dog don't even bother come back no more. You know, you say, "Hey, Rufus, come get your dinner," and it's just bones every time. And Rufus ain't gonna show up on time. It may take a few times, but he's not showing up, right? And so that was what happened with me. I started feeling drained, like tired, drained.
Mm.
Um, after so many times, so many months, and about 3 years, right? We were trying, and every time I said this is not going to work, we're done, because I was so drained of this person's energy. They didn't have any. They were taking my energy, and they would ask for us to just keep trying, and we try again, and it just wasn't working. So one of my biggest thing when to show that the intimacy is gone was I was drained because of the abuse. There was abuse. It drained me. I don't have any energy for you. I don't have any time for you. My mind is not on you. My mind is on taking care of our daughter and making sure that she is a well-rounded individual. And then my final, there were other things, but that was the biggest thing for me that I remember. I just remember feeling tired. And then the last thing was, not the last thing, but one of the biggest factors in me realizing that it was dead was I wanted my child to grow up as a well-rounded citizen, right? A well-rounded person, a well-rounded young lady, someone that is a pleasure for someone to say they want to marry. And I couldn't give her that if I didn't have that. I couldn't give her that if I was tired all the time, if I was drained. I was also concerned about her physically, not that there was anything ever done to her, nothing. But I was concerned because there were things being sent to me. She had to have heard all of this, but nothing was done directly at her. It was indirectly. And as a therapist, we're trained to be able to do therapy on children starting at 18 months. So she was already past 18 months. So I'm sure that she was affected in some way. But thank God I trusted him and decided that this was not going anywhere. It was going to be too much for us to try and unpack all of the things that he had going on or that I had going on. But I wasn't being abusive, it was him. So I'm going to flip it that way. So I agree that when these things start happening, this decreased communication, um, feeling lonely in the room. When you said that one, I had to chuckle because I was there. I was there. I was there. There was mute. I remember one straight incident. I was sitting in the room. I was sitting on the sofa. I had a book in my lap to try and make it look like I was enjoying the moment, and there was music playing, and there were people in the room, and I felt like nobody saw me. No one saw me. No one. So it was just being feeling like lonely in the room with others. Mm-mm. And then this last part where you said the gut feeling, we shouldn't really go with that. I agree with that too, because you can't just say your gut is saying that this is going to be it. This is what's happening. So you said, I wrote down self-created perspectives. So when you create your
Mm.
own perspective of the situation,
Absolutely.
yeah, what are you doing? You're posing all the questions, and you're getting all the answers from yourself. All the questions are in here. They're in here. You're okay, is this yes, yes. And then you're answering yourself. Who are
That's
you
right.
consulting with? You're not consulting with God. You're not going to a therapist. You're not talking to the person. You may not be talking to your friends because you're embarrassed. That was one of my things. I didn't talk to my friends. One of my friends picked up on everything and came to me, and that's how I was able to let somebody in. But yeah, that's your self-created perspective. No, you need the facts. You need facts to be able to
Absolutely.
make that kind of decision. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what it is believe in your own ideology, and coming to your own conclusions on what that person is saying and doing. And oftentimes when you're in that kind of frame of mind, everything is negative. There is no positive thing that is coming to your head. And
Right.
so the mind will tell you, come out of that situation. Pride will tell you, come out of that situation, because I was saying to someone the other day, pride is a self-preserved mechanism, but it shows up in a way that people think, this isn't pride, this is just me making sure that I am looking after me. But oftentimes, if you have a experience and that person is being negative to you, and you respond in a negative way towards that person, oftentimes that is showing up as pride. You're safeguarding yourself, but it is pride that is showing up. And the reality is that if you are in a relationship, and oftentimes people wait until things get really, really bad, they don't check in with each other because of fear of what the other person might say. It's not that they can't check in, they see things and they realize that this doesn't look good, but they're afraid to check in case that person says something that they don't want to hear. So they leave it,
Mm.
and then they leave it, and they leave it, and it gets worse and worse. And one thing that I realize in relationships as well is that there are some things that are not going to change. They're not. They're non-negotiables. They're things that will not change in your relationship, about that person, about you. But it doesn't mean that the relationship can't work. It means that you need to work through those things. And that's it. It's stop trying to change people. Stop trying to say that this person is not for me, or that this person is this way. There are things that people are hardwired. And when you marry someone, you have married that person. And so there are certain things that are changeable. But when you find that you are constantly arguing about the same things over and over again, those things are not changeable, and you have to live with them. And that's the reality, is that people don't want to live with certain people if they show up in a particular way. But remember, we're coming from different backgrounds, different cultures,
Right.
different beliefs systems. And so
Right.
because we have these things, in us, doesn't mean that it's bad. That's the thing. People want to say,
Hmm.
oh, you're like this, and they
Mhm.
label it as something bad, but it's not
Yeah.
bad. It
Yeah.
is what that person's belief system is. Like I said to someone the other day, what is the harm of you doing something that is good, that you are unsure of whether it's God that is telling you yes or no?
Mhm.
There's no harm in doing it. If that person isn't causing harm to you, but they have a different opinion to you, that's fine. Do you get what I mean?
Mhm.
If it's not going to take away from the relationship, it's just, you know, I like chocolate. I like white chocolate. You like dark chocolate. Okay, that's fine. You don't have to try to convince that person that the white chocolate is bad. Do you get what I
Mhm.
mean? You say, okay, that's what you like. That's not something that I actually like, but it doesn't mean that it's bad. And oftentimes people are saying that what that person is saying or doing is bad when it really isn't. I wanted to share a couple of bits. Uh, so I've got about 7 points, and yeah, I did have. So we've got psychology today, and it's talking about various different things. I read it. The reason why we're doing this subject is because I saw somebody post about relationships coming to an end, but they was coming from the perspective of how do you end relationships amicably without I don't know exactly how people are not going to get hurt here, but without hurt, without resentment, without bitterness, how do you end that relationship? I think it's doable, but you know, from they've got Psychology Today, and I will put the link in the chat. I'm not sharing a lot from that, to be quite honest. Reason
do you think that
my own kind of mindset in terms of certain things, it's not everything that I read that I'm in alignment with, especially because I'm coming from a biblical perspective. So it's not everything that I read out there that I'm in total agreement with. So I wanted to say, I want to share a couple of bits, and then I'm going to bring Dennis in, and then he can kind of share what he thinks. So one of the things that you will definitely pick up when the relationship seems as though it's coming to an end, or that there are signs that the relationship is in trouble, is the emotional distance. So women tend to pick up on this a lot more than men do, because women are more in tune with things emotionally. So it's not a bad thing or a good thing, it's just that women are more in tune with the emotional aspect of things. So emotional distance, and I've written here, you and your partner feel emotionally disconnected with little intimacy or affection, and it kind of feeds into what you were saying, Paul. And you know, we're going to give tips and so forth next week, but I just wanted to throw this in there as because whenever I'm thinking about something, I'm always thinking on the flip side, this is the problem, this can be the solution. So acknowledge the distance and discuss your feelings openly to understand each other's perspective. And it's as simple as that. And the reality is if you're checking in with someone, then you're going to, not all the time, you're going to probably get some answers rather than coming to your own assumptions or not checking in with them because of fear of what they're going to say. Second thing, and then I'm going to bring Dennis in, constant conflict. So frequent arguments and unresolved conflicts dominates your interactions. And the reason why that happens is, like what I said a little while ago, is because you're trying to change the person. You're trying to win them over. You're trying to tell them this is how they should be. This is how they should think. This is how they should, their belief system should be. And so it's going to be a conflict because that is not what they believe. That is not what they think. That is not what they want to do. And so you're going to get that conflict with somebody because they are not believing what you believe. So I've put, seek to address the root of your disagreement through honest communication, or consider some counseling. So, but again, next week we'll expound upon that. So Dennis, your thoughts on signs of a relationship that is coming to an end. I shared a couple of things. Paul shared a few things. I know you was having some technical problems, but what is your take on signs of a relationship that may be ending or having conflict that can bring an end to the relationship?
Let me just throw the four that I had: lack of physical intimacy, issues with problem solving, which is the communication, feeling lonely in the same room, and you just basically have that gut feeling. Just to give you something to chew while you're thinking on that, I'm going to present what you're going to say. Go ahead.
Crickets.
Yeah.
Crickets.
Yeah.
Crickets.
And not cricket.
Tumbleweed.
Crickets.
Yeah.
When you're riding in a car, I've been there, so I'm speaking from experience, and you're thinking someone you've been with all this time, you find yourself on a highway, just you and her or him, and you're thinking what to say. What am I saying next? Y'all been doing this thing for a minute. Sometimes you forget what got you there. You get so comfortable in a relationship, you forget the small things. Like me, I forgot the small thing. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. That's insanity. And a lot of times, you go read a book, or you would I'm just saying from a male standpoint how we think. Let me say how we think. We think that you go to your friends. We having issues, but before you bring it to me, you bring it to your friends. You'll go sit down with your ladies. You say, I'm going out with the girls tonight. And then, Y'all start talking, and then someone will come up with an idea, then you try to bring it home, or you go read a book. You start reading a book about your relationship. And sometimes it went, it's the little things. I know just from experience that what got you there, you should stay there. That is the ingredient. What got you there, I know from a man's standpoint that no man likes somebody constantly just talking and you may not think it, but we thinking you trying to fix it. And like, wait a minute, why are you? And I'm not your client. I'm your husband. Or that woman comes all of a sudden, and then I noticed that I wasn't paying attention. But when things got bad, I really paid attention to. So like if every day you come and you go in the room and you lie down, you do that every day. All of a sudden your pattern change. Those are signs. When the pattern starts changing, wait a minute. She said let me show me for my example. My ex-wife had a pattern. She would go to work, and when she get off work, I had the baby. I had AJ, and she would go to a room, and sometimes she get up. Like we get home about 5:30, and she'll get up about 10:30. Oh, I'm so sorry. I had you up with AJ all. I said, no, I got him. I done. He's our child. I done fed him, and he's in bed. We good. And then all of a sudden, she changed her pattern. She started putting her purse down and leaving for 3-4 hours. That's a pattern. The things that happen in a relationship, if you just pause and you watch and you play back some things, you see, I'm up 1,000 feet. That's how I can tell you about it. But when you're up on it close, you can't see it. You won't see it. You're not going to see it because you're so up close to it. And then you get in your mind. You try to fix, that's a dangerous place to be if you haven't gotten help to fix what's broken in your marriage. That's where I was. Resentment is huge, man. I mean, resentment, when you start feeling resentment for the person that you lay with every night, that you come home to every night, that's a bad place to be. And for me personally, I felt some resentment. I didn't feel that. And also, this was one of the biggest things, was the emasculation.
Yeah.
When we with people, you don't know it. You're a big talker. You talking and this, and this. My wife don't even take a breath. My husband don't even take a breath. He's talking, someone talk. Then we get in the car, silence, nothing. We don't speak about nothing. I know an incident like, we out somewhere and we with all our friends, a bunch of friends, and I'm over here with them guys. I'm talking. And I hear, no, Danny, that's not the way that happened. Or that's not, and you're like, and you sink, you sink into your head, when you're talking, and then we get in the car. That's just what our pattern. And we get in the car, and I'll say, hey, why you got to do it? You see Haley and Brian, you see this one and that one, they may have problems, but they won't never say it in front of us. Why you got to bring ours out in the open? Why you wait till we're in front of people? And when you're talking, you're not. You think you're talking in code to your friends. You talking to your friends, and I'm listening, and you trying to talk about a situation and try to make it look like it's not us. But I'm sitting there, and I know you're talking about me because you never brought it up to me. We've had this issue. Those things, it bother a man. I'm sure it bother a woman too, especially
Absolutely.
when you're in front of people, and then they talking about, I don't know if when you get with a bunch of your friends and you'll start talking about relationship, girl, so-and-so this, and man, so-and-so this, and then, and then you throw, and you try to sneak your little thing in, but we constantly listening because we're in danger. We know we have a problem. We just never learned how to fix it. The way we fix it was my ex-wife was trading war stories with someone else. You see? They started talking. She said, well, I have this problem. And then he said, well, I got this problem. That's something that's a no-no. You should never do that. Sit with another man or woman or discuss your relationship, and their relationship is bad too. That's a recipe for disaster. And that's what happened. That's what happened in my, I've heard other people where it has happened, where we quiet them. Why you didn't come to me? I'm not talking about on a rainy day, I'm talking about on a beautiful day, on a Sunday when nothing's going on. Well, we cool, she cool, I'm cool. Let's talk. Hey, the other day, what you said, it bothered me. I just want to tell you that. Can we talk about it? But when we pile all that stuff, you talk about things from last month, last year, last week, man, that glass you broke just now, he or she not mad about that. It's all that other
No.
stuff from the other stuff, and then you'll start talking about all these other things, and that's where the professional comes in. That's where that person that comes, he rightfully divide what it is that you guys are going through. I know that's what I did. You know, I waited too late. She did say, "Hey, let's go to they call it a weekend getaway for couples," but it was just to work on just to fine tune your relationship.
Yeah.
You know something's going on, but you're so happy, you in a cloud, you're not seeing your man or your woman struggling because you're happy and you're happy for you. And that shouldn't work, you know, because we a couple, we together. There's something that happened that we lose respect for each other. But resentment, I would say that is the biggest thing because because you can't see it coming. You don't know why you're talking or feeling the way you're feeling about that person that you say you love. It's because it's resentment. And me, it was resentment. I knew something was wrong. I knew something. Me personally, I knew. Before we went to bed, I like to pray. That wasn't a cup of tea. And I would come from around my side, and I would say, "Hey, you know, can we pray?" I knew we was in trouble. And when she would lay her hand in my hand, she never touch and agree. She would just lay it dead because she wasn't a believer like me. But I prayed still. I prayed. You know, and sometimes that train has left the station, but you stay in something trying to fix it, and that person has long gone in their mind and have long gone in their heart, but you stay by that door that has been closed. And sometimes God got to give you a swift kick to get you moving again because there's life after that relationship. There is, but you know, the lessons I've learned, I had to take time away from myself to find out about myself. It's an ugly truth when you're looking inside yourself. You think, wow, you know, now you find yourself in a room by yourself. You're by yourself. You're thinking about that relationship you just left, and you've never fixed it, or you don't know how to fix it, or you're too ashamed. Me as men, we're too ashamed to say, I'm broken and I need some help. But how do you get that help?
Some help.
You know, and I think when that person you with telling you need to get help, it's something. Sometimes it takes another person, just somebody else that you trust, because that's what happened with me. My ex-wife called our close friend, and she knew out of all the people in the world, I was the only person I listened to. Not when he telling it to me, no. He's the only person. When he tell it to me, I'll go back and forth with him. When he leave, I'll play it back in my mind. Wow, that dude was on the money, man. You know, and I at the time I didn't grasp it. But the damage, when you create so much damage, it's hard to come back. It's hard to get what you had in the beginning, you know, because that person is always suspect of you, always suspect. Something you said somewhere, something you did. But I'm telling you, when you're away from it, when I got away from it, I could see because I'm up high, but I'm having somebody direct me. I'm having my therapist talking to me, say, Dennis, do this, do this, do this, do this. And I did it. And I saw the errors in my way, but I couldn't go back. At the end of the day, you know, people leave all the time. You know, it's the foundation that you build in the beginning.
There you go.
Foundation. If you build it good in the beginning, it's gonna weather the storm. You know, we look at somebody, we all into, you know, what he has, what he looks like, the sex is great, all that. You ever drive in the country and you see them old people, 80, 90 years old, old man, old lady sitting on the porch, right? It's late in the evening, right? That's his ride or die. He ain't going nowhere. She ain't going nowhere. You really think he looking at his lady, mama, when I get to that house, we're going to be swinging off the chandeliers. No, it's deeper than that. It's not about love. It's about loyalty, commitment, and trust. Love had nothing to do with it. Love would have brought you home last night. That's what they say. You know, I know that the fact that we have to be strong when we build it at first. I know how to build it. A lot of men don't know how to build it in the beginning because we use what we have, like material things. That's fine and dandy, but you can't take that with you. You know, what's come from here, how that person treat his mother, how she treat her mother, her father, her sister, her sibling. You have to see all that, you know. But for me, relationship, they end all the time. They do. It's how we do it in the beginning. And if we could sustain that, that's why you have to do a maintenance. I know that now. I didn't know that back then. But I'm telling y'all, like I didn't know that. It's the maintenance that gives. You have to do little things. You have to pull yourself away from that house, and y'all go do little small. It's not the big things. It's the little tiny things, because those little tiny things, they add up to big things. You know,
Yeah.
a card, a flower. I love you. I was just thinking, but look, I'm just thinking about you. I'm not trying to disturb your work. You know, those little small things, they matter. We take all those things for granted in a relationship.
And you know, the thing about it, Dennis, is that those are the things you did when you met. Yeah. These are the things that we do, you know, the late night talking till you hear the birds tweeting outside. You know, now the person, you've got the person, you feel like you don't have to do that because you got them.
Absolutely.
Yeah? Sometimes,
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't want to jump in there too much, because next week we're going to do strategies on what you can use to try to fix this brokenness, you know.
Right.
But that late night talking, you can still do that in the bed, laying down beside the person who you say you love or you want or you've committed to be able to talk, and you're talking and they're talking. Catherine and I, well, matter of fact, I think most nights we end up going bed late and we will have a conversation. But I remember there was a time we're going through and we talked till I think it was 4 o'clock in the morning, you know. And it's a good feeling because you feel like you've aired things, you know, and you're expressing what's on your heart. There wasn't an argument. Matter of fact, we don't argue. Yeah, we used to have disagreements that led to conflict. Yeah, but we actually don't argue, you know.
That's
We'll
because
put a
you've
point
gone
across.
past that stage, because there are people when you're forging that relationship and becoming one, oftentimes people find that they get into arguments backwards and forwards. But then when you settle, when you realize, you know what, this is where I'm at, this is where they're at, this is how it's going to be, then you're clean sailing and you're going past that stage. But
go on, you finish.
Initially, you know, especially when you get married, remember, when you get married, you're in a covenant with someone, and you know, biblically the two become one, but they don't become one instantly. And so you are making your way through that, and there is going to be conflict, there is going to be disagreement, and then you realize, you know, this person is like this, I don't need to change them, and this person's like this, I don't need to change them, this is what I actually like about them. And sometimes the things that you like about someone, sometimes people can start criticizing those very things after you're married to them. They start highlighting things. Oh, you talk too much, or, you know, you don't listen enough. And those were the things that was fine in the dating process. But now you're married, it's kind of like, this is what I actually want from you, rather than saying, this is this person, this is what I like about them. And it's the forging. When you get to a certain stage, there shouldn't be that much conflict.
I think they tell you that. I think when men, when I'm speaking from a male perspective, and that's why Maya Angelou said, when somebody show you who they are the first time, believe them. That first time, that first indiscretion, if you go back in your relationship and you think, like me, I went back and I missed some things, you know, because I'm more caught up in that person, the way that person looked, and I didn't go deep. I didn't really go deep, you know. I only saw the outer, but there was some things that were said, and it went over my head. Or I was sleeping. I don't know what I was doing. But we tell you in the beginning, if you listen close enough, we listen,
absolutely,
and it's always say less is more. Less is more, especially when you're looking for your life. I know this now. I'm not saying like I knew this and because look at me today. Less is more. When you're really trying to find your person. I mean, when you're really, really, really finding your person, and I'm not talking about, you know, from a spiritual standpoint, and you look for those little things. You know, those little things matter. You may think in the eye, you know, I could kind of look past that, but it don't. Look when you get married now, because you know what, you talk too much. Why? But why are you talking?
It continues on and on and on, and
it festers. Right
later down the road. Yeah, you want to go back to a year ago, 2 years ago, to deal with the thing that you now know is an issue to you, but they said it in the first place and it wasn't an issue. You know,
I think because they're looking at you. We don't think that it's an issue because right.
never said anything.
Right,
Yep.
right.
And now it's bigger. I mean, one of the things they said in this very well mind, that the reoccurring argument, you're going back. You can go through this, but still go back to point A, because that was the core issue that you really had, you know.
Absolutely.
But that you never resolved, you know. But again,
no, because Paul, you're trying to find a way. You're trying to find a way back to it. If you never, if something bothers you, right? You're trying to find a way, and then when you open that door, oh, okay, we fussing about this. And look, you remember last week you did this, and look, I didn't say nothing last month because we was around family or was about friends. But no, you see, because that stuff, it felt. I learned this, that I don't want to wait till the next day. I'm gonna give myself 2-3 hours. I'm gonna take a break. Hey, can we talk? Can we talk? Can we talk about what's going on? And also understand about asking for forgiveness and saying you're sorry. That goes a long way in a relationship. If you don't know how to apologize, have a sincere apology and figure out that you're going to try to fix this thing, you know, and you're sincere, it goes a long way. But, you know, if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over because you want to do it, it's a habit. It becomes a habit. And then you and that person, you're going back and forth. I never really argued with my ex-wife. We never really argued like that, you know. And what she never did was, if we had some disagreement, she never got up the next day and talked about it. But what she did do, she kept an account of it the whole 9 years. And when she handed me the divorce papers, she let me have it. Everything, the way I made her feel, the things that I said. It wasn't until therapy that I understood that, you know, if you say it hurt you, I got to understand it hurt you because you have a right to your feelings. And should have enough respect to you to hear you out, to hear what you're saying. But don't discard your feelings. I understand what you're going through and you have a right to feel what you feel. But when you take that right away from somebody, that person going to leave. Slowly but surely, that person going to start making preparations to leave. It's never going to get better. And what my ex-wife did over some years, she's preparing the whole time. I just couldn't see it because I was just like this. I just stayed the way I was staying, and I said, well, shoot, she gonna stay here because where's she gonna go? You know, what's
so
she
do?
gonna do?
One of the things
about?
that I was thinking about, just one sec. One of the things, Debbie, that I was thinking about just now when you was talking, Dennis, is sometimes this thing about sleeping in the other bedroom, sleeping on the couch, you divide yourself already. Recipe for disaster. You're living here, I'm living there, or you're in that room, I'm in the spare room. Those are recipes for disaster because you're giving that person the time to digest all this negativity because you're bringing that energy in. Either of you, I accept it. Oh, you want to sleep in the other room? Go on then. Yeah, and you're accepting that it's over. Don't want you to touch me, don't want to lay down beside you, but you're still living in the same place, or you're still communicating one way or another. Both of you have caused the breakup of that relationship because you're not really trying to resolve. There's no communication. What was it saying here? You can't problem solve.
That's where counselors come in. That's where counselors come in, and that's.
See, I said something the other day.
Sorry,
you froze.
It froze.
You can talk. That's a good thing. What you want to say now?
I think I cut off. Did I just cut off then?
You froze.
You froze. You had that same ice cream I had. You don't eat that no more, Paul.
That cold drink. I think that you can prepare the foundation. And again, I don't want to say too much because next week you can prepare the foundation before you get to counseling. You both agree together that, because that has to be the first thing, agreeing that we are going to take a good kick at this to try to make it work.
Yeah, but you know that sometimes people don't go to counseling to be counseled. They go to counseling to show that they're right. They
Yes,
they
absolutely.
go to counseling to say,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
right, okay, we're going to go to counseling. I'm going to share what I'm sharing, and you'll be able to see that I'm right, you know. And that's why it's important that both of you choose the counselor. You know, if there is one person who is, I would say, emotionally more intelligent, and that's not to say that the other person isn't emotionally intelligent, but there's normally one person that's slightly more intelligent. There is somebody who's more the driving force behind getting counseling and so forth. Let the other person pick the counselor, because what they will assume is that you've picked the counselor and this counselor is going to be on your side. So let them feel comfortable in picking a counselor that
Don't give
is
away
going
too much now, Debbie. Next week.
yeah. Oh yeah,
Don't give
that
away
is
too
going to be
much.
beneficial.
Yeah,
So
I think what we did was she wanted to go, then I didn't want to go. Then I was like, man, I'm gonna lose, because she had done made her mind she was gone. And I said, let's go. But by the time we reached there, she was gone. So what happened, I sat right next to the counselor to show my commitment. I mean, I was right there giving all the information, and then the counselor looked up, and my ex-wife was in the corner, and she had her hand like this. And the counselor trained, she picked up on. She said, "You checked out," and she told the counselor, "I checked out a long time ago." The idea of that process was this: we meet with the counselor in the beginning, one counselor. But the idea is that we each get our own therapist, and then at some point we do the work on ourselves, and then at some time we come together to compare notes to find out what we've learned and to apply it in our relationship, and then at periodically we'll come back and see where we at. All that takes time,
So that is a
especially if
strategy.
somebody believe that they hurt you. The tough part for me.
Oh, now he's frozen.
Yeah, she could not. She had checked out. When somebody checked out, trust me, they checked out. They're gone. You know, you could cry a river.
This is why next week we're going to show you the strategies about mindset and checking out.
The thing is, when people check out, yeah, and this is what is important, and I'm going to share this next week. People only check out because they don't believe for 1 minute that you're hearing them, and they don't believe that there is going to be a change. They don't believe that. And when you start doing the work on yourself and not trying to change them and focus on what they believe and what they don't believe, then that's what is important. And if the relationship is restored through you focusing on yourself and getting that side of things back together, then the relationship can work. But people pay too much attention to the other person. Them checking out is because they believe that it's not going to work.
They also believe that they're not at
for
fault.
valid reasons. They got valid reasons why they don't believe it's going to work, because they've probably tried a number of different things and it doesn't seem like if it's going to work. Now, if that person and that person don't believe for a minute that their spouse has heard them. So as far as they're concerned, there's no point. We've been doing this for a minute. You can't hear me. Let me go about my business. And the reality is that the spouse who is checked out has to see that the other spouse has heard them, that they have heard them, and that they are willing to adapt, to make changes. And it doesn't mean that they have to change much about themselves per se. It's really about them acknowledging what that person is saying to them, be it right or be it wrong. Do you get what I mean? It's just like me saying, can you hear me? And you're saying, no, I can't hear you. Then what's the point of me continuing speaking to you? And then when you say to that person, can you hear me? And that person says, yes, I can hear you. What did I just say? And you're able to repeat it back. They're like, oh, okay. So you are paying attention. You do know what I'm actually saying. But outside of that, I believe that I firmly believe, because I've seen and I've heard people, and I counsel people who's checked out, and I've asked them, why have you checked out? Why have you checked out? Because they don't hear me. There's no point. If they don't hear me and they are not making changes to even listen to what I'm actually saying. And the key way of asking, you can talk to somebody, you can sit down and talk to somebody, and you can say to them after speaking for a few minutes, what did I just say? You will hear if they haven't heard you, they haven't heard anything, and they're sitting there right there, they haven't heard anything. And this is why it's important to go to a counselor, because a counselor will say, did you hear what your wife just said? And the counselor is able to translate what that person's saying, because the challenge is that person's talking, you cannot actually hear what that person's saying, because it's warped, it's corrupted, it's got all of the debut and the debris and all of that messed up in it. So when you go to a counselor and they say, did you hear what your wife just said? And they say, yeah, I did. What did they just say? And they repeat it. You can clearly hear,
or husband,
that wife or husband, you can clearly hear that this person is not hearing you. What they're hearing is very warped, because their frame of mind is in a particular place, whether they believe in their own ideology, whether they believe in what their friends and family are saying. What they hear is something completely different, and that and the spirit of pride is involved in that anyway. But you're not speaking the same language, you can't hear. So when the counselor's involved, they're able to translate, this is what the person's saying. And if that person is willing to be open to it, they will be able to hear with new, fresh ears, this is what the person's saying. And it's important, even when you're, and I'm going into a little bit of what we're going to go into next week, but it's important even when you're sitting down and you're doing your check-ins, that you say to the person, excuse me, husband and wife, what did I just say? And for them to translate it back. Or you say to them, I hear you, you said X, Y, and Z. Because that way that person is realizing that you are hearing them and they are hearing you. And it's so important, because I sit down and I hear people talking. I can hear very clearly what this person's saying. And the other person, what is amazing is when someone turns around and says, that's the first time you've ever said that to me. And they say, I've been saying this for ages. Like, literally, I've been saying this for ages. And this is the first time this person's heard it. Why? Because they're now in a place where their ears are open and they can hear with clarity. So I'm going to share a couple more things about the signs of a relationship breaking down. We know the lack of communication. The communication is superficial, or it can cease altogether. And the important topics, like I was sharing earlier on, are avoided. The reason why they're avoided is because they're painful, or if it's not painful, there's something that might trigger them. There's a fear, an underlying insecurity there, that if I bring this up, if I communicate what I'm really feeling, this person is not going to like it. They can walk away, they can argue with me, they can do whatever. So they limit the communication. And that's the worst thing that you can do. Fear, we've got a natural fear, but fear of communicating what you feel or what you think that person's saying, that's trouble. That's absolute trouble, because you should be able to share what you're sharing. Mummy used to say, speak the truth and cause it what it will. Speak your truth. Speak your truth, because otherwise you're treading on eggshells. The other one is indifferent. You and your partner shows a lack of interest in each other's lives, activities and well-being. And it kind of feeds into this one, where people are living separate life, increasingly spending time apart, developing social circles, or leading independent lives. These are key signs of people not getting along, and can end up with their relationship ending. I've got two more and I'm going to share them quickly. Loss of trust, whatever you want to put it. Trust has been broken due to betrayal, lies, or consistent unreliability, and hasn't been rebuilt. Now, unreliability, people don't realize this, and I want to share this. You being unreliable breaks somebody's trust. Oh, I'm going to be home for 6 o'clock. You're not home at 6 o'clock. Oh, we're going to go to the park this weekend. You don't go to the park this weekend. Oh, do you know what? I'm going to pay for this and you don't pay for it. Unreliability causes someone to lose trust in you. It's as simple as that. People don't realize it's things that seem, like you said it, small things. Do you get what I mean? Oh, once a month we're going to go out to dinner. You don't do that, and you make some excuse. You, whatever it is, oh, we're going to put money into a bank account together. You don't do that. It builds up. This person sees that you are not trustworthy. Your word is not your bond. And people don't take those things seriously. They just think, oh, it's all right because, you know, I wasn't able to make it, or whatever excuse it is. But it builds resentment, like what you said. That person starts to resent you. They don't trust you. Your word is means nothing to them. If your word means nothing to them, when they say to you, I love you, in the back of that person's mind, they're thinking, really? You love me? I don't think so. Do you get what I mean? You say things, but I don't really trust your word, because you say things and you don't follow through. And it's things as simple as that people don't realize. The last one is your future plans are like thwarted, so diverged. Your vision for the future no longer aligns. So you're going in one direction, the person going in another direction. It leads to conflicts and major life decisions. Now, if you've had plans that you're going to go in this direction, and you decide for whatever reason you no longer want to continue with that plan, so you might say, we're going to relocate to Japan or wherever, and then you decide, no, I don't really want to relocate because all my friends and family are here, and so forth. That person now, in their mind, they're thinking, you're not my person. You're not my person. Because the reality, we did a show on Leave and Cleave. When you're married to your husband, your wife, you have to forsake all others. Yeah. People get it twisted. They even with their children, they're just like, oh, because of my child. Do you realize that child's going to grow up, and you probably might not see them for a week, 2 months. You might not hear from them. But the person that you say you're going to spend the rest of your life with, you're like, oh, I'm not going to spend time with you because of the child. I'm not going to do this because of my family. You're not going to win. You're not going to win that person's love and affection. It's one of those things that, if you have a plan and the plan changes, let it change together. Let you both have that conversation and say, do you know what? These are the reasons why we can't do this. But it's especially if you're the wife, and a lot of women don't like this, as the man being the head of the house. You know, a lot of women don't like that. They don't like to know the husband is the final word on this. Especially
like to submit.
I don't even think it's about the submission. It is, we now live in a society where women make a lot of money, where they can make decisions, they're raising children by themselves and all of that. And so especially if they've done a lot of things by themselves, now that a man's come into their life, it's kind of like, I can make decisions for myself, but you have to hand over that decision making to the man. But also, I find that it's important for the man to be able to navigate that in such a way that he doesn't sound like if he's controlling, and he doesn't sound like if he's manipulating that woman into doing what he wants her to do. And but you got to submit, especially if it's from a biblical perspective. You got to submit. No, it is a conversation that you are having together, and his word, he will have the final say in the decision. Yeah, you might not have to like it, but this is how God has set it up. So I really wanted to share that with you guys, and I think that it's important for us to identify. You might not be experiencing some of these challenges. I doubt it though, because these are kind of like fundamental ones that you will experience in your relationship. But if you see that there's conflict, if you see that there are challenges, do not run away from them. Confront them, speak and express about how you're feeling about a particular thing. even with that feeling in your gut, that fearful feeling in your gut that that person might not take to it too kindly, they might feel as though you're disrespecting or whatever, have the conversation, like, and have the conversation in a way, in a way that is at a time when it's appropriate, not in the middle of conflict. Do you get what I mean? Not when things are irate between you. Wait until, you know, you're in the park, you're chilling, you're having a good time.
We're going over to solutions. Yeah.
Yeah, we are going over to
Yeah,
solutions. Have the conversation. I know, because I'm a solution-based person. Like, if I see a problem, I'm going to try and fix it. But have those conversations, because it's important. If you're at a place where there's conflict, do not avoid it. Try and communicate. Try and deal with those
So we're
things.
talking to you who are going through it immediately tonight, right now. These are the tools for you right now. You're feeling lonely and you're in that space, you're feeling broken, there's no intimacy. You can have that conversation, you know, without having to argue about it, being able to one hear and the other one listens, you know. One hear, one listen. One's talking, the other one's listening. You know, it's two-way. Just like a business, what you put in is what you're going to get out. If both of you are talking, no one's hearing anything. So that's for you who are going through this time immediately. But next week, we're definitely going to give you some great solutions as well. You're all quiet in the chat. I don't know if there's anything
I
on
haven't even been in the chat. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
I haven't even been in the chat.
No, I have.
There's
nothing there at all. No one's talking. Everyone's listening. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with that, because by listening, you're learning. You know, we all will have a friend or friends that are going through. So while we're talking like this, you might be absorbing, and you'll find that you're in a situation to be able to give someone some good pointers, some tips by listening in on this. You know, you might not have anything to say per se.
Clapping hands. But do you know what I wanted to say as well, Paul? I wanted to say that when people are going through the conflict, oftentimes somebody was talking the other day, and I don't know what it is about people not addressing it, that they're hoping that it's going to pass. It's not going to pass. It's there, and it's there for a reason, and it can help to strengthen your relationship. The more you avoid it, is the worse that it gets. And Dennis said it, service in the relationship. If you're talking about these things, so I hope that people are making a list of what we are talking about, because you will see them probably show up in your relationship, and you'll be able to say, do you know what, let us start to address these things before it gets really bad. Do you know what I mean? And there's no comeback. Dennis said it when he went counseling. They was in counseling. His wife already had checked out. She wasn't fully on board. She already had checked out. That's because it got to that worst stage where you think, and people think that if it gets to a really, really bad stage and we go to counseling, it's going to work. Well, sometimes the counselor can be there as the mediator to say, do you know what? Let's try and deal with this amicably. Let's try and sever this relationship in an amicable way, because it's got that bad. A counselor isn't going to.
You know what my wife said, and my ex-wife said was, we only went to when the counselor told her she was in the corner, and then she went to one session, but she was gone, and I was trying. I did. We stayed together another 4 years, I believe, after that, 4 or 5.
Wow.
But after we went in the park, I begged. I mean, I said, I want my marriage. I mean, I really and truly want my marriage. What we doing? But by that time, even me, I was stubborn, standing by that door that was closed, and stayed another 4 or 5 years. And then she told me, she said that the counselor told her to leave. And I was like, ain't no way that counts. That's not what they do. That's not what they do. That's not their job to tell us what we make the final decision whether we want. We never did. She never gave us a chance to come together. And then she started saying it was financial. And also what she did was, and I'm sure a lot of men can attest to what I'm saying. You have girlfriends. That's your board you go to. You go to them and you share, your issues about what you and your husband going to. You and your husband, that's a sacred thing. It's a sacred thing, And when you go to them, it takes all of that away to me. That because if we had this covenant, right, that I don't have to go to nobody. I'm not talking about my family, my friends, my girlfriends, don't do that. It makes it worse. It makes it worse when you come to us and then we knew you done went out for whatever hours, you went hanging with your girlfriend, and we watch your body language. And we know we're waiting for you to come at it because you're gonna come with it because they done told you some stuff, and then you're gonna come at us, and we're already in a bad position already. We're already having this resentment inside. I'm not saying, because we know eventually me and you stay together, them same friends, they're gonna come smile in my face because they done told you to leave, or they done told you whatever they told you, but it was never, you're saying your side. But there's two sides to every story. And when you look at it together, then, that's why you go to a professional. That's why I always say, I was telling my friend the other day, man, the biggest mistake you can make, you go to other people. I'm saying, go get some help. Don't go with other people tell you to do, because they can tell you the very wrong thing. And then you come and you lay that on your wife or you lay that on your husband. It's just not a good practice. I married you, so I should come to you with everything. But I think sometime over a period of time, when we hold all these things together, it's like ammunition. So when something go down, you do everything, and you're more in the weeds. You get further in the weeds, or further away from the relationship, because that resentment is there. And the people that you went and talk to, we're gonna see them people somewhere down the road. I'm gonna be suspicious the whole time. I wonder what they done told my wife. She's doing this and she's acting this, but it plays on your mind. But think about it. You and him just had an argument. We just had an argument, and I'm seeing a change in you. And you're telling me I'm going to my girlfriends, and we're going to sit down. We know men know that women bash men. They say it's all in fun, but one person on that table is really taking it serious. That stuff that you're saying, somebody done left home and then went home and then jump on that man about something that y'all talked about. I'm saying, if we not uplifting each other, I'm gonna be so quiet when my friends, because one of my friends, I went and tell him something, and he said, "Oh, D, man, I would do this." I said, "Whoa, hold on, man. That ain't me." Number one, ain't me. He called me weak. He called me all kind of names, but I kept a mental note of it. I said, I will never, ever tell him nothing about the woman I love, no matter how bad she hurt me. I'm not talking to him like that, because the things he telling me, I would go to jail for that. And so when he asked me a question about her, I would say, "Man, everything good, man. We good. We working it out, man. Man, you sure, man? You don't know, man. We good. We good." Because that kind of information I don't want. Not everybody want to see you together. The people, everybody that's with you is not with you. They just want to get the goods. Because I'm telling you, they say, love your friends, love them well. But to your friends, no secrets tell. For if your friend becomes your foe, all your secrets everyone will know. Love your friends, love them well. But to your friends, no secrets tell. For if your friend becomes your foe, all your secrets everyone will know. Those dirty things you've been saying about your husband. That's why you see so many people backdoor you. How many relationships you seen where that woman sat with you, you told me my husband having this, your best friend, and how they backdoor you and take your husband. Man, the enemy is alive and well. Be careful who you tell your deepest and darkest secrets to. I'm telling you, when you with that person you with, confide in that person. That's the person you chose. Whatever differences, as long as there's no violence, as long as it's not physically or mentally abusing you, I'm telling you, you take that with you. Look, it didn't work. I didn't have to go all over Atlanta and tell everybody, oh, Dennis was this, he was that, he was that. Look, you want to go? Go, because I'm not going to tell nobody zero, because that's me. I married you. Me and you going to work it out. Why can't we sit down and work it out? But that's what a lot of men, and listen what I'm saying. A lot of women, you may not have to believe it, but if he know you got a lot of female friends, you met him. You met all her girlfriends. I met all your girlfriends. And I know how all of them are different. They all bring something different to the table. Me and you mad. We mad. We never talked about it. We never resolved it. You mad, I'm mad. And you say, hey, babe, I'm going out with the girls tonight. You know what he doing? You know what we doing? We sitting down. We waiting for you to come through that door. Because we know you don't want to talk about it. I don't care what you say. You went talk about it. You got loose lips. If you drank something, your lips got very loose. You say loose lips sink ships. I'm just giving it to you real. I mean, we sit there and we act like we don't exist, like we don't know these things. And if we have an issue, like I said, if you don't come to me and say, like, I didn't know. I didn't know. I read through a text, my ex-wife texting another man. And he's saying he has problems with his wife. So they're trading war stories. And then he said, listen, I tell you what, girl, listen, he want the cookie. That's all he want. He said, come on, get on a plane and come to Miami and we're going to have some Mai Tais, me and you on the beach. What? That's what I used to do. That's the kind of stuff I did, that game. And I told her, I said, I ain't mad at him. Because if you're going to fall for the okie doke, that's on you. That ain't got nothing to do with him because you fell for it. And I'm telling you, we sit there, you're telling your stories. You hurt? Yeah, you hurt. I understand you hurt. That's why they got therapists. That's the money you invest in yourself. If you really want your marriage to work, invest
in a therapist.
So do you know what I totally agree.
If you live though, he's gonna tell you that our guy gonna order you and he's gonna tell you, girl, look, go. You don't have to go to the board, to your board and sit down and have drinks and talk about because you hurt. I understand you hurt. I understand it's hurt. I understand it's hurt, but the information you get, and then he waiting for you to you're going to bed. How was your night? How was your night? Oh, I had a good night. I did. Then you say, baby, can I talk to you for a minute? Here it comes. Oh Lord, here it comes. She done talk to them ladies. Now she's gonna try to. That's just how we think. I want you to understand. I'm not lying to you. I'm not lying to you because
do you know what?
I was just gonna say something. One of the things that is what happens, and it's something to a food for thought right now. Whatever you're going through in your relationship that's unresolved, don't think that it's not going to carry on in a different one, another relationship. The pattern that you have here is the pattern that you're going to have there. That's why you have to work on yourself. And as you're seeing, and next week we're going to dive into it even deeper, that you have to work on you. That you don't become a product of the environment that you're coming from. If it ends, that you are a better person, a better man, a better woman moving forward, problem solving, etc. But I don't want to go so deep into that. But I just want to read from the chat really quickly. We have Deborah Barrett. She said, oh no, actually you have Sonia. She said, just thinking in response to what I was saying about being quiet, or some people taking it in. We have Deborah Barrett. She says, just listening and learning so much. Thank you very much. We have Carmen. She says, a brilliant topic. Please, tell your friends, tell your family, and those that can listen to this before next week. Please listen to this show, because next week we're going to come with solutions, things that you can apply that possibly could work. So thank you so much. That is actually my final word, because I for me as well, I'm taking in a lot myself, and so strategies and making sure that I don't fall into that same trap.
So I wanted to touch a little bit on what Dennis actually said. So one thing, the differences between men and women. So men don't talk frequently like women. Men hardly talk. They do a lot of internal work. They tend to speak to themselves, answer themselves, all the rest of it, kind of like what Mel was saying earlier on. And so the difference is that women will talk, men don't talk as often as what women do. So what you find is that women are more able to come with solutions and able to work through the processes more than men, because they're able to just get everything out. They're talking about it with their friends. They're able to get their emotions out, their feelings out, whereas men internalize a lot of that. Yeah. So when you were speaking about, you know, just sharing it with your spouse, I know a couple in particular, and they don't talk to nobody. The woman doesn't talk to anybody, the man doesn't talk to anyone. They always keep whatever they're going through, they talk about it amongst themselves, and it's beautiful and it's brilliant. What I did want to say, not every person that you talk to, especially when you're talking to women of God, and I stress that they're women of God who are coming from a biblical perspective. And I've got some core women around me, people who they talk about their challenges, and it's not just relationship challenges. They talk about their challenges on a deep level. I don't speak to people who are not transparent, open. I don't. I speak to people who are willing to bare their souls, who's willing to accept that they can be wrong, acknowledge the fact that God desires for them to be a particular way, and is able to be repentant, reflective, and able to make changes that is going to enrich themselves. So, you know, there is wise counsel. There's always going to be wise counsel. You're always going to get those people who are monitoring your behavior, chatting about you. You're always going to get that. But I have got faith in people because God has set around wise people with wise counsel around us. And so for me personally, it's choosing the right people. It's being sensitive to who God places in your life, so that you know that, because there's times when I say, I don't want to do this. I'm not engaged in this, blah, blah, blah. I can say all of that, and I can get the wise counsel back, where it's just like, you don't even have to like this, Debbie. You don't even have to really do this. But what is God saying? What does the word of God says to you regarding this situation? And the thing is, sometimes I will be annoyed with that person. Like, we get on each other's nerves, because don't matter if you want to chat smack, we are going to go back to the word of God, and we're going to say, but what is God requiring from you? Period. What is he requiring from you at this point in time? So you can be in a relationship, you can be married, you can be in a relationship. God is going to say, fix you. Stop talking about what your husband's doing. Stop talking about what happened last year. Fix you. And those are the type of people that I choose to be around, and those are the people that I speak into their lives, because I've never been a yes person. You're not going to be able to be around me and I'm just going to be yes, 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 or I want you to agree with everything that I'm saying and doing. I set myself around people who's going to be able to say, you know what, Debbie, you're wrong. You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. And I have to hold that. When you're dealing with people who are yes people, people who are not anchored in God, who are just going to tell you, you know, whatever comes to mind. And I've experienced that. I've been on the receiving end of that, where I've been annoyed, I've been angry, and I've just chat and been annoyed and got bad counsel, bad, and then gone back and bring that to my husband. And the thing is, it was God that was teaching me a lesson, because it didn't happen once, it happened twice, back to back. And God was like, do you see this? And I was like, yeah, I see.
So Debbie, so Debbie, what I'm trying to say to you, if you did that before, and if the person that you with is not rooted in Christ, if you're not rooted, if with that same energy you would talk to them, take that same energy and talk to us. Come into
absolutely
us. Find a space.
You know what,
find a space.
you can experience, and because I counsel a number of different people, and there's men and there's women that come to me. You can experience that woman or that man that is going to their partner with all that strength and all that muster, and they're getting tumbleweed. They hear nothing. They get no response.
I think is just like I was telling you about the Ethiopian folk tale about the woman who had the small child who went to the witch doctor, and she was saying the little boy went against everything, and it's the way that you is everything is how you do it. You have to figure out how it's going to work for you, how you approach the person you're with. When you come to him, when you come to us, it's suspect. Because if you did it in the beginning and you come to me again with, I'm like, you went to talk to them old girl again. You went with them girls over there. You went to talk with them. I ain't trying to hear that right now. I ain't trying to hear none of what you're saying right now. I don't care. I'm telling you from a man, you could talk about the Bible. You could talk about the spiritually connected, all that. Listen, when you're not connected like that with God, that man will not hear you. He has to be in that place. And it's about showing him. If you humble yourself enough to go to that man and speak, it's the way that you come to us. It's not how you do it. It's the way you do it. The way you come to us. Man, I mean, men, we'll sit down. We won't say much. But when we say, I hope you're listening, because we talk very little. We talk a lot when we want to get what we want to get. Mm-hmm. But when we're in the corner, we just go, I'm processing it, but it's not coming through it's going one ear out the other, because I know where you went. You just went by them old girls over there. I don't care. You can say they carry 10 Bibles, 20 Bibles, but if that man is not in that space where you at, I'm telling you, I don't care what you say. I don't care how you say it. I'm telling you, if you come to your man with a sincere heart, with patience, with patience and due diligence, we're going to listen. We're going to listen because it's coming from, we figure it's coming from a different place. It's coming from you, directly from you. And you have to, the way you want somebody to treat you, you have to show them how you have to teach people how to treat you sometimes, And I'm telling you, we check your temperature all the time, especially when we fussing and you arguing and you running your mouth, we checking your temperature. And then when you get quiet, we say things just to check your temperature. Oh yeah, she's still over. I'm gonna keep staying where I'm at. I'm gonna stay right here. You could cry me a river. I'm gonna stay here because we know things. We watching you. You think we gonna call you? We're not really calling. We checking your temperature. Every time we call, we checking your temperature. Yeah, of course, no. But I'm saying, but it's no fun when the rabbit got the gun. You got to figure out how to turn that table. Once the rabbit got the gun, everything changes. You're able to talk. Now, since he got the gun, what do you want to talk about? Oh, we could talk now, brother. You got the gun. I got to talk to you now. You understand? It's about flipping that situation. I'm not a proponent of my ex-wife. I'm just telling you from experience. I'm not saying everybody. For me, my ex-wife have a very good friend that I've been knowing them. They've been our friends since I got here. You understand? They're both from the Caribbean. They all understand each other. And they do all these cool things. And I wasn't against that. But I told her, you ever noticed her and her husband, we heard through the grapevine that they were going through something. I said, when you see him, you ever see him? She's always doing stuff for him. He's doing vice versa, but they got problems, you understand? And what she did was she went to her best friend, her girlfriend. And her girlfriend, she called me. She did. You know what she told me? I was on my sofa. I'm gonna tell you my business. I was on my ex-wife had left. I was crying. I was crying out to God. I was crying. I was on the floor crying, and I'm missing my family. I get a phone call from her. You know what she told me? She said, Dennis, you don't want her to stay with you out of pity, huh? I said, huh? What are you talking about? Pity? What are you talking about? I said, I don't hear a word of lick of God coming out of your mouth. You talk about him, but I don't hear nothing about God. I hear you say, look, let's do something different. No, you co-signed. When she said she wanted to go, she co-signed and leave, girl. You're young, go on and leave. That's me as a man. I know that already. She went to someone who wanted to co-sign on her BS, and that person co-signed, and she said, you know what, girl, leave, and don't look back. And that's what she did. I'm not saying all women do that, but I know one thing. If you come to me as a man, and men, we waiting for our women to come to us with a sincere heart. Not what the people in the peanut gallery said, but what she said from her heart. That when she took time out to go and study the word herself and went in that war room and went in that closet and prayed for both of us, for God to give her the words, not what the people in the peanut gallery said, but what God said, not what God. You think if God had a message, he would send it to them? And if you have a one-on-one relationship with God, why he don't say it to you? You tell me why. Why? Because we just don't have the patience. If we talking to God, if God is speaking to your heart and you sincere, you went on your knees and you call out to God and he spoke to you, why you gotta say, you know what? Man,
Come on now,
hey
Dennis.
girl, come on, girls. Let's round up the cavalry. Let's go meet at the club or let's go meet at the restaurant. And let me tell you about it. And you may have one friend, one good friend, and you go, and we know it. But I'm giving y'all the game, man, for real. We know it. We know it. It's not coming from you because we know from your pattern before. You're doing the same thing you did before, the same thing that irked us, that you went to other people. We want you to come to us. Give it to us directly. And if it don't work, it don't work. But don't come tell me with Mary Jane Sue that's carrying 10 Bibles done told you. Because if you telling me you're a woman of God and you say you know him, then show me that you know him. Show me. Why you got to go to these outside people to talk about it? Come to me. Let's talk about it, you and I. Find a good space where you and I could talk about it. And that's just real. I'm just being as real as I can be. Because I know and we want it. We want that, you know. I stayed and I waited on my wife. I waited. I waited. I ain't cheat. I ain't look outside. I ain't do nothing. None of that. I waited. But
Dennis.
I just didn't know how to do it. When I was waiting, I built up a lot of resentment. And that's what really, at the end of the day, I couldn't come back. I couldn't overcome the amount of resentment that I had. And she's telling me, and when she convicted me, and she said, and you want me to go to that church? And she said, but look how you came back. Aren't you supposed to come back better? And same thing with us when we're looking at you, when you praying for us and you leave out that house and you come back and we're waiting for a change. We're waiting for that change. We've been sitting down, we're in problems. And if we don't see one slight bit of change, we just gonna stand still and whatever gonna happen, gonna happen.
Is that your final word?
We wanted to do a final word on signs of a relationship is ending. So Merle, you can go ahead, say your final word. Dennis, Paul, and we will all say our final word. And those of you in the chat, before we chime out, if you want to share a final word or if you want to ask a question quickly before we sign out. But thanks, guys, for joining us.
Go ahead, Melissa.
Go ahead.
Build good first. That's it.
What did you say? Say it again.
Build good first.
Build good
The
first.
foundation.
You sound like Trump.
make relationship great again.
Mel.
Bigger something he said. No, go on.
Millicent, I understand. I call her Mel, so forgive me. Just like I call Maurice, my brother Paul. So
it's okay, Debbie.
No, I'm saying that's if you haven't. That's if you're gonna start to build good first. What about those that may already be in that place where they're already challenged? Because that's if you're about to build good, yeah. But what happens to those that are in the thick of it now?
Yeah, like I said before, the narrative that we set up in our head when we are the one that is in that room alone, even though there are other people in the room, it's the same stuff I just said. The narrative that you have going in your head is not what you need. You cannot help yourself at that point if things are already gone sour.
Right.
You just can't. So Dennis is saying one of the things that some women do are go to their girlfriend, but he also said the answer as he was speaking, and that is seek professional help and talk to God. Seek professional help. And the professional help needs to be the type of help that, based on who we are on this forum, godly, spiritual, religious, whichever way you want, it needs to come from the Bible. So you can find a professional therapist, you can find a spiritual therapist, You can find a therapist where they're faith-based. That's what
Mm-hmm.
they call them here, and get some guidance on
Mm-hmm.
what to do next. Get those funky thoughts out of your head, because that funkiness is not gonna take you anywhere but into more funk. You're
Mm-hmm.
leaving now when it could have been something where you guys needed to talk. If it's too
Mm-hmm.
late, well, we're gonna come to that next week.
Yeah.
But
Mm.
yeah, seek
Thank you
professional
for that.
help. Okay.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Who's going to go next? Dennis, you want to go next with your final word?
My final word is
Relationship
um,
ending.
there's always hope. I like to think
Me too.
if you I
Optimist.
didn't have that before. I didn't understand what hope was. I mean, I understand if you have that, you got a chance. You know, if you could come to a place that you could lower the temperature in the room long enough for you guys to see each other and understand where each other coming from and have a willingness on both sides to work through that relationship no matter what. And remember those vows you took. Those are the
Mm.
tough times. Remember the vows and remember what got you there. Go back to what got you there. You can't go wrong. What got you there, that's what you stick to and what you know and you're gonna get back on good ground. But you gotta go back to what got you there.
Paul, did you want to go next, or do you want me to go next and then you close out? It's up to you.
No, you go ahead.
So we looked at the various signs of a relationship ended, and I'm like Dennis. I believe that there is hope. I believe that the signs are in some respect a good sign, that you need to change, you need to respect, you need to show love, you need to show empathy, that there are things that are overlooked. And I think that if people don't just look at the signs and look at how they can navigate through those things, then I think that you can come out on the other side and live a fulfilled relationship. That's my sincere belief. The signs, it's just like a symptom, a pain, that if it's diagnosed and it's treated well, you can be cured. And that's what I believe in regards to relationships.
Yeah,
So
you're not gonna just throw it, dash with the foot. If the foot
yeah,
broke up, you gotta take it down and get it fixed. You don't just
absolutely.
throw it out.
Absolutely. But
Uh,
that's why when I thought of the topic, because of the what I saw in this group, the signs of a relationship ending, it's to me is a sign that there's work that needs to be done, but it doesn't mean that it's not it doesn't mean that it's unreachable. It doesn't mean, people quit because they don't have the tools in order to be able to navigate through what they are going through. And that's why we have these podcasts, and that's why there is help and support out there, because it's understandable not everybody has the tools to navigate through it, and it can feel painful just like a lot of other things. However, it is a sign that things are not going good, but there is hope. So yeah, those are my final words.
my final word is that honesty and transparency. Be honest with yourself. Some of us, um, we know we have something going on, about ourselves, and you need to self-search, self-heal. When I say self-heal, that you come to a realization that this is a fact about me. That's the first point of call. This is me. This is what I've brought to the table that has turned the table over, that has vomited up on the table, etc., etc.
Mm.
Be honest with who you are. You know, the worst thing you can do is lie to yourself about
Mm-hmm.
yourself. Yeah,
Mm.
lie to the other person about who you are. The real. Be the real, authentic you. We never got into relationships to end. I said at the beginning of the show, we never got in planning the end. Yeah, we got in hoping that this will go a long way, if not forevermore.
Mm.
So be transparent and be honest, and that's my final word. And I wanted to say thank you so much for all the listeners, the silent ones, in the chat as well. Thank you so much. Thank you for Dennis. Thank you, Millicent, for coming on again. You know, you are our resident, you know, and again, if you know others that want to
Why are you
come,
shaking your head, Melissa? I can see you.
if you know others,
My car with resident because I know him I got call upon we again.
all right, you know us. If you know other, if you two know other people that are like-minded and they're filled with the
Wisdom.
experience and knowledge, that would like to join on the platform, and some of you out there, you may feel that, yeah, I've got something to say. Please DM us, find us on whatever social media, and give us a message, a topic, or you just want to be part of this, what we're doing here, please. And I spoke to some of you at the weekend. If you've joined tonight, we all have something to give to one another. You know, we've all been through. So like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family. That's my final word. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
God
Thank
bless
you, Dennis.
Thank you. Thank you.
Raz.
Thank you.
Join us next week for part 2 of
Part two.
this. Yeah, nearly forgot. Part 2. Yeah, the solutions to the signs of a relationship dead or dying.
Hey, Paul, before you go, did y'all get my invoice for the show?
I still haven't got it. Did you send it with a pigeon?
Oh my God. I put a certified, so you'll have to sign when y'all get it to know y'all got it.
You sent it by the pigeon, and I know someone who's I saw someone eating something, so maybe that pigeon has been eaten now.
Oh my
Until
God.
next week, guys. Take care.
Yeah.
Bye for
Still
now.
flying over the Pacific. All right, bye.